And we'll have to see, will White Ra top this? Will he be able to top those 6 wins from Demago and win this tournament? Because that would be pretty big, and what would even be bigger than that is winning WCG as well.
Yes, it would be. We've actually got 3 contestants in this tournament who are also in WCG Ukraine, which is actually why we're playing their matches first, just to make sure that they can compete in that. White Ra versus Strelok, Game 3, going to be on Metalopolis right now, and we're going to be into that game very, very shortly indeed. You know, it would be. You know, what would be really, really nice if we had consistent positions right here. I'm gonna have to press the swap button right here. There we go. It always. I don't know what it is about Blizzard that they have this problem right there with StarCraft, whereby you can put someone in the same location and yet they'll. I don't know what it is that the bar won't come up right, but that's okay. Easy fix. Easy fix. We're not stressed, folks. We didn't have delays and problems at the start of this tournament like we do it. What is it about esports and delays, man? It just happens.
It's Hellions. It's Hellions' fault today.
Evidently. Ladies and gentlemen, I bring you White Ra. He is in the yellow trunks, and he is playing Protoss to the west of this particular map, which is, of course, the Metalopolis for Thermaltake Esports versus opponent from Team Imber FX Open. It is the one and only Strelok. He is in the red trunks. He is playing Terran to the south.
And basically the reason why Strelok was so far behind in that mid game was because he invested a lot into that third base. You have to remember that that put him behind so much when that was shut down. If that had stayed alive, he would have soared ahead. And he took a really, really big risk there, which I think wasn't even necessary. I mean, he's won the first game. Maybe he just wants to try and win the second game really, really fast.
Yeah.
But to be honest, he's a more than capable player to be able to go toe-to-toe with White Ra and any other Protoss player. So I think he should have just easily planted that third base down there where it should have been and should have intended to be and just played that normally. And then after that, those early medevac attacks just did not do enough damage. I think they killed like maybe 2 probes and a cannon, and that was it. And White Ra defends, easily pushes out, takes a 4th, and Strelok's left. What do I do now? I mean, you're taking a 4th base. I cannot let this happen. Have to attack. And it failed, unfortunately.
White Ra had a superior force, was ready to move in at that point. So taking anything off the line, not having any bunkers on the line was not a very good idea either. Especially with a big Zealot heavy force. Bunkers really, really good against that kind of thing. And perfect map for creating a 3 or 4 bunker wall off. Strelok did not do that. He likes to keep his forces mobile. He's a very aggressive player. And as a result, failed on the defense right there. White Ra with a quick scout on the opening for Strelok right here. Nice and simple. Barracks followed by Refinery at the appropriate time there.
And a second Marine is being constructed, which is to kind of already telling us that why didn't you throw down a tech lab? Why didn't you throw down the reactor?
Yeah.
So that's something to keep in consideration. Now, I guess the options are that he doesn't want to play like that. He can easily throw down a factory very, very shortly. Or he can just go ahead and be a lot safer. 2 Marines are going to be a lot safer against any probe that magically comes through, that sometimes can happen, but as we can see, it is going to be for that factory play here at the back of the base. And I don't think White Ra is going to change. He's just going to 1-gate expand. It's the safest thing to do overall. And even if you lose 5 or 6 probes with a double nexus, you should be completely safe to rebuild probes. But we do have a second refinery going down now as well. The tech lab added on to the barracks as well.
Interesting.
What are you planning, Strelok?
That is really, really interesting. It will be, of course, Marauders right here for a little bit of defense, but he doesn't have much gas. He will now that he's mining from both. There you go. He's put his units in there and plenty of gas coming in. That's, of course, going to be concussive shell right here. Strelok is
gonna try and land it to try and just build up a few Hellions.
That's
and then
not
going
to happen.
Harass.
That's a very cheeky thing.
I know, another cheeky little maneuver here from Strelok, which could potentially cost him the game again. When a player of White Ra's caliber doesn't make mistakes, then you're in a lot of trouble, to be honest. And especially when a player like White Ra decides to go 3-gate robo this early on. So it looks like we are going to be seeing that infamous Warp Prison play once again.
Oh, it's been spotted. White Ra actually going with the gateway. That's actually 4 gates.
Yeah, he's definitely going to be going for that Warp Prison play again. He's going to be trying to do a lot of pressure here straight off the bat. And that's going to work in his favor here because we have, you know, just now a starport being added on. It's not looking good.
Yes, Strelok tried something a little bit gimmicky right here, and he'll be able to do a little bit of harassment. It might force a few pros to pull off the line, but the thing is there anyone cooler or calmer than White Ra? Not really, and Strelok has barely even got a shot off right here. In the meantime, however, he has gone for this 2-pronged attack and brought in a few units. It looks like he might even be able to get a Hellion out of there. It can take 1 more hit, and Strelok now applying some good pressure to White Ra, who was not perhaps prepared for this approach, and I don't really blame him. This is highly unusual right here from Strelok, and working in his favor, because of course the Zealot's getting roasted there by that Hellion. A big warp in right there of Stalkers to try and deal with this. He should be able to clean this up now, but there is another Hellion on the way, and Strelok will be able to continue to harass that mineral line. Warp Prism is now up, and White Ra taking some damage. Wasn't exactly a huge amount. Strelok managed to kill 4 workers total.
Yeah, the biggest problem for Strelok, though, is that White Ra has the maximum amount of structures per one base. He has 4 gateways and 1 robotics, which means he's going to be able to build so many units in defensive posture, in aggressive posture.
Yep.
And right now, we have Strelok with very minimal. I mean, he's thrown a bunker up right next to his command center. He is going for Cloak Banshees, but as soon as that's spotted, Observer, and it's going to be very, very difficult to play.
Yeah, this is really, really tricky indeed. And Strelok pulling everything off his line right there to try and prevent this. He was able to delay that for a few seconds, and he's got a good defensive position right there. And there's the Banshee right there to shut down those Stalkers. However, here they are, and the Zealot's getting torn apart right here. But Stalkers in the base, which is not helping whatsoever. That Banshee is doing a lot of damage, and White Ra needs to focus that Banshee down if possible. But how many workers has he killed?
19
oh
now.
My God.
Warp Prism warping in more units. This is looking really, really difficult right now.
Yes, Strelok is getting battered right here. And there's another warp in. As I said, the 4-gate warp prism approach. And there is a Banshee there. I have to say that there is a Banshee.
And there is not an Observer, though, yet. Still has not been made for White Ra. He warps in another Stalker. And this may be the only glimmer of hope that Strelok will have, because he now has 2 Banshees. There is no Observer. This Banshee's going to go in with Cloak. We'll be able to rack up so many kills. At the same time, though, he has to defend against this push. All these Stalkers and Zealots have to defend. But with Cloak Banshees,
yeah, that's going to be really, really difficult. The thing is that the Banshee DPS is not high enough to bring down White Ra Stalkers before they can absolutely decimate Strelok. The economy of Strelok is going to be shredded right here. There's a quick pickup as well. Look at the micro right here from White Ra. With a quick pickup, picking up the injured Stalkers before they die and losing bare minimum. Tank now out for Strelok and that Banshee on the defense. And in the meantime, all of the probes have now been pulled off. Oh my God.
What a weird game.
There's no workers left for Strelok. Strelok is on mules alone, and there's only 6 probes available for White Ra.
And the Hellions found them as well, and the Banshee's on pursuit as well. He does have 362 minerals banked up, so he will be able to rebuild with Chrono Boost as well. But he only has 4 Stalkers, and he's not even going to try and rebuild. He's warping in 5 or 3 more Zealots. He has 1 Observer and 4 Stalkers now to beat whatever Strelok has left. And Strelok has 2 Cloak Banshees.
Yeah, and he has no means to deal with it. He should have built an Observer by this point, but of course he doesn't have the gas.
Now he has an Observer in now, so
this
is going to be the only option now. He has to get rid of these Stalkers. If he can get rid of these Stalkers with the tank as well, he can win.
Yep, and the tank chewing through there, but of course nothing to repair that. And there we go, the Observer gets it. The Banshee is not being moved. Down that goes, and White Ra still with a few units left. There is still this Hellion and the Banshee, however. The second Banshee moving in.
Second Banshee should have been brought along with the first Banshee in the
tank.
It
really
Having
should
double Banshees then, he could have dealt with this, but now a single Cloak Banshee with not maximum health versus these Stalkers is not going to work out well.
Yep, scan going down right there to try and take... Yeah, the thing is, what you're going to shoot it with? Absolutely nothing. And he needs to bring that Stalker down in time. It is so... Oh my God, he takes the Stalker, and there's now nothing that can kill that Banshee.
There is 1 Stalker left, though. In the main base
of White Ra, a
single Stalker.
Oh my God.
If he calls down a Mule, which he's going to run out of time. I don't know if he's going to have enough time to do this.
He needs to repair it.
He's going to build an SCV. He can repair the Banshee and he'll win, because there's no money right now for White Ra. White Ra needs to kill the Banshee now. And in comes the Stalker and Warp Prism.
Oh, it was dropped quite early, and Strelok sees it. Will he be able to get away? There's the Cloak, but the Observers are down. It goes. That's White Ra. Oh, that is indeed game. What the hell just happened?